Sony's PS4 is an unstoppable force in the gaming industry, gathering increased acceleration years into the console generation. In the past, their E3 presentations have been hailed for garnering passion and excitement for loyal fans and the endeared media. But Sony has two options this year: recycle the past two shows, or do absolutely nothing. Much like the Xbox One, PS4 has some big games coming in 2019 and 2020, and that is exactly what E3 is all about. Halfway through the year, E3 usually showcases next year's biggest games. We're going to talk about what we can expect Sony to show fans of the PS4 at E3 2018. There is much controversy with PlayStation and Xbox fans over which E3 presentation is better, but there's no denying that both conferences are loaded with multiplats and the promise for brand new games. The PS4 has already had its best year ever with Yakuza 6, Ni no Kuni 2, Shadow of the Colossus, and God of War, with Detroit Become Human coming out this month. So what could possibly be left to talk about on the Sony stage this E3? Sony has sold well over 2 million PSVR units. Around 3% of PS4 owners are invested in VR. But Sony will probably showcase some new and ongoing VR games for about 10 minutes of the presentation. Standout VR titles this year will be Star Child, Gollum, Mega Dimension, Neptunia, Blood Truth, and Firewall, all which should be planned for a 2018 release. But VR is not the big draw for PlayStation 4. Sony's console is well known for its diversity and game variety. Expect them to showcase Concrete Genie. Follow Ash with motion controls as he wields his magic paintbrush to purify his drab small town. Realize your inner artist. And in a similar vein, Dreams is another big game coming to the PS4 in 2018, made by the creators of Little Big Planet. PS4 gamers have been waiting to live and play in their own creations in this very unique game. Another stellar AA game is the upcoming Hotline Miami / John Woo inspired Hong Kong Massacre, a top-down Twitch twin-stick shooter. Hopefully, we'll see a release date for the end of 2018. And since the PS4 does not offer a viable solution to backward compatibility besides PS Now, Sony will show Medieval, a long-awaited remaster from the PlayStation 1 era, getting a fresh coat of paint on the PS4 in 2018. Expect Sony to show at least one brand new game concept in the works for a couple of years down the road. But like I said in my E3 Microsoft video last week, we have no idea what this new game could be. But Sony fans have been clamoring for the biggest games that only PlayStation can provide. Last year's biggest surprise will return with Sucker Punch Studios' ominous Ghosts of Tsushima, most likely a third-person action game set in feudal Japan. Sucker Punch has delivered consistent results for the PlayStation platform. Expect to see gameplay along with a new fleshed-out trailer with a release window set for holiday 2019. Spider-Man will swing onto the screen as a major highlight for the conference. Sony and Insomniac have already been generous in 2017, showing large portions of cinematic gameplay, and it has generated massive appeal, hype, and excitement for a full-fledged Spider-Man game. Insomniac has a reliable pedigree and promising Spider-Man for September 2018. That just means it can't get here soon enough.
Come on, get him inside.
What happened?
I got hit again. Squatters off the highway. We've got to get some men together, go after them.
Don't look at me, it ain't my problem.
They've got Manny.
You sent Manny on a supply run.
Delayed from its original release in 2017, Ben Studios' third-person action zombie game, Days Gone, will be shown with a narrative-driven story and scope of its open world. Days Gone follows closely the formula that has made many PlayStation exclusives a memorable success. A focus on character and the human struggle during the impending doom of being devoured by the undead. Days Gone may be promised for a release window of spring 2019.
Don't make it so.
No game has PS4 owners more excited than The Last of Us 2. Set years after the original smash hit of 2013, the story is going to be a larger story, working complementary to Ellie's story from the first game. The Last of Us 2 will focus on the Firefly's conflict with the survivors and introduces a much darker tone, with last year's trailer polarizing audiences with its grit and its violence. Naughty Dog are the masters of the AAA experience and expect it to be slated for holiday 2019. And it will be the hallmark of the PS4 era. But there is a possible release date in early 2020, with the developers stating that they were 50% through the production back in 2017. Now, that brings us to our next possible announcement for Sony's E3. It seems far-fetched since the PS4 has been so incredibly successful to kill that momentum in any way, but Sony describes 2016's PS4 Pro as a mid-generation refresh console, putting the next generation literally at 2019. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sony takes this opportunity to generate buzz for a 2020 release of the PS5. And what better way to get consumers ready to buy a shiny new console than planning the launch of the generation's most anticipated game? From Hideo Kojima. Now, Kojima has a lifelong history of the Midas touch in gaming, and all of his productions have struck gold. The masses expect no less from Death Stranding. Although most cannot even describe what Death Stranding is or how it will play, we can all assume that it will be a third-person, semi-open world game with some of the industry's best visuals. The best cinematics and gaming's most strange and unorthodox storytelling. Last year, Sony presented an unforgettable trailer that creeped, amazed, and filled gamers with wonder and anxiety for what the CGI-based trailer illustrated. Expect to see more from Death Stranding, even if it means we may not see a release until 2020 on the PS5. Sony has all of the ingredients to present a stellar E3 in 2018. And they've done a remarkable job of molding the PlayStation platform into a well-oiled gaming machine that doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. But I expect Microsoft to be on their toes and keeping Sony working hard to keep loyalty and amazement coming for the gaming industry as a whole. We want Sony and Microsoft to both succeed and even excel over the other in their own rights, to create that competition that drives innovation and inspires studios to develop memorable gaming experiences for years to come. This is Colt Eastwood. Thank you so much for watching. You're new here, aren't you? There are quite a few that I see in the comment section pretty often, and I appreciate you so much. And if this is your first time here, seriously, welcome. I create these videos because I love gaming. I want to get the conversation started. And if you like this one, I'd highly suggest checking out last week's video that covered the leaks and predictions for Xbox's E3 this year. The link is in the description, or you can wait a second for the end and there'll be a screen link. Subscribe to the channel, and if you want to get my attention, add me on Twitter or Xbox at Colt Eastwood and send me a message. E3 is in a couple of weeks, and we'll be reporting on how these two companies delivered. I'm honestly expecting a very good show for both. Oh, before we go, here's some combat from the upcoming Days Gone on PS4. Alright guys, I'll see you in the comment section. Have a great week. I'll see you then for my next video. And please, be nice.